Last night, your brain produced a full-length, first-person film. Original cast, impossible physics, real fear, real joy. You were there. And then, within about 5 minutes of you opening your eyes, it deleted almost all of it. That's not a glitch. Your brain runs the projector every single night and quietly unplugs the recorder before you wake up.
The question nobody stops to ask is, why would it bother making the movie at all if the whole point seems to be that you forget it?
Here's what we're gonna do. Not the horoscope version. A dream about teeth means you're anxious. I mean the actual neuroscience of what your brain is doing while it runs those hallucinations every night. And I'll tell you now, it's not one thing. By the end of this, you'll understand 3 competing jobs your dreams might be doing, including one that will change how you think about the nonsense in your dreams forever. Because there's a theory, a genuinely new one, that says the reason your dreams are so bizarre, so illogical, so weird, is the entire point. The weirdness is the feature. And once you see it, you can actually use your dreams. I'll give you the one thing to do tomorrow morning at the end. Quick honesty check before we go anywhere. Why we dream is one of the most genuinely unsettled questions in neuroscience. Serious labs disagree, so I'm not going to sell you a single answer. I'm going to walk you through the 3 strongest theories the field actually argues about, and let you feel where the evidence is strong and where it's thin. Let's start with the oldest survival instinct you own. Picture an early human, asleep in the dark, in a world with actual predators. And every night, their brain generates vivid, terrifying scenarios. Being chased, falling, cornered, attacked. That sounds like a design flaw. Why would evolution hand you nightmares? A Finnish neuroscientist named Antti Revonsuo looked at that and proposed something clever. He called it threat simulation theory. The idea: dreaming is a fire drill, a flight simulator for danger. Your brain runs threatening scenarios over and over in a body that can't actually get hurt, so that if the real thing ever happens, the neural pathway for perceived threat, react, has already been rehearsed. And it fits the data unnervingly well. Across studies, fear shows up as the most common dream emotion. And in threatening dreams, the dream you usually does something. You run, you fight, you escape. Here's where the house rule kicks in. I'm gonna show you the crack in this theory on purpose, because it's how you know I'm not selling you something. The problem? Other researchers have pushed back hard. People in genuinely dangerous environments don't always dream of more threats. Sometimes they dream of less. And we have 0 direct proof that ancestral humans who dreamed of danger actually survived better. It's a beautiful theory with a soft spot. So, threat simulation might be part of the story, but it can explain the dream where you're calmly eating cereal with a dead relative and a talking dog. No predator there. Which means something else is running too, and it has nothing to do with survival and everything to do with your feelings. You've lived this one. Something awful happens. A fight, an embarrassment, heartbreak. That night, it feels unbearable. You sleep, and the next morning, it still hurts, but the edge is dulled. The memory's still there. The sting is smaller. That is not just time passing. That's a specific thing your dreaming brain did to you overnight. Matthew Walker's sleep lab at Berkeley calls it overnight therapy, and the mechanism is genuinely elegant. During REM sleep, the stage where your most vivid dreams happen, your brain does something it does at no other time. It replays emotional memories from the day, but it switches off a stress chemical called noradrenaline, almost to 0. So you reprocess the emotional event in a chemical
chemically calm environment. You keep the information, that was painful, learn from it, while the raw panic gets stripped off the file. It's exposure therapy that runs itself for free every night. And here's the killer evidence. What happens when you don't get it? Rob people of REM sleep, then show them threatening images the next day, and the brain's fear center, the amygdala, fires up roughly 60% harder. The emotional brakes come off. Everything feels more raw, more reactive, more overwhelming. So the next time someone tells you to sleep on it before making a big emotional decision, that's not folk wisdom. There's a neurochemical process with your name on it waiting for lights out. But hold on, threat drills and emotional therapy, both of those explain the content of some dreams. Neither one explains the thing you actually notice most about dreams, how completely, gloriously insane they are. And that brings us to the newest idea in the entire field, the one I think is the most beautiful. Let me ask you something. Would you actually want a perfect photographic memory of every single day? Sounds like a superpower. It's a trap. And to see why, I need to show you a problem that AI engineers fight every single day. Because it turns out, your brain has the exact same problem. When you train an artificial intelligence, there's a failure mode with a name: overfitting. An overfit AI has studied its training data too well. It memorized every example flawlessly and became completely useless the moment it saw something slightly different. It can recite the textbook and fail the real exam. It knows the specifics so hard, it lost the pattern. Now think about your own life. Your days are incredibly repetitive. Same commute, same rooms, same faces, same routines. If your brain learned only from that, if it just kept memorizing your actual days with perfect fidelity, you'd become the human version of an overfit AI. Brilliant at your exact routine, rigid, brittle, and blindsided by anything new. So how do AI engineers fix overfitting? They do something that sounds insane. On purpose, they inject noise, weird, corrupted, distorted versions of the data to force the system to stop memorizing and start generalizing. Noise, distorted, corrupted, impossible versions of your real experience, fed to the system every night to stop it getting stuck. Does that sound familiar? In 2021, a neuroscientist named Erik Hoel put those two things side by side and proposed something radical. He calls it the overfitted brain hypothesis. The theory is this: dreams are your brain's noise injection. The bizarreness isn't a side effect, it isn't a message. It isn't your subconscious being poetic. The strangeness is the mechanism. Every night, your brain deliberately generates warped, sparse, impossible remixes of your real life. Flying, morphing faces, places that don't exist, specifically because they're not realistic. That corruption is what stops you from overfitting to your own boring, repetitive days. It keeps your model of reality flexible enough to handle tomorrow's surprises. Flip your whole assumption. You were taught the goal of a dream is to mean something. Hoel saying the opposite. A dream that made perfect logical sense would be a failed dream. The nonsense is the whole point. The weirder it is, the better it's working. And it explains that thing everyone's felt. You wrestle with a problem, go to sleep, and wake up with the answer. That's not magic. That might be your brain generalizing overnight, shaking loose of the rut and finding the pattern you couldn't see while you were staring straight at it. But now flip that, because this is where it turns. Remember overnight therapy? The process that strips the sting off painful memories? What happens when it fails? That's a nightmare. Or worse, PTSD. In trauma, the overnight therapy system gets stuck. The brain keeps replaying the memory, trying to file it away calmly, but the noradrenaline doesn't switch off, so the terror never gets stripped from the information. The file won't close, so the same dream returns night after night, dragging the full body horror back with it every time. Think about what that means. The exact same machinery that heals you on an ordinary night, a slightly rough dream that processes a bad day, is the machinery that, when it jams, becomes the most tormenting symptom a human mind can produce. The healer and the haunting are the same system. One, is it working? One, is it stuck? Which reframes the whole video. Dreams aren't a gift or a curse. They're a process, usually invisible, usually working, and only noticeable when it breaks. So here's the one thing to actually do with all this. Tonight. Most people treat dreams as either meaningless or mystical. Both of those make you a passenger. Instead, become a passive observer of your own maintenance system. Here's how. The moment you wake up, before you move, before you reach for your phone, lie still and replay whatever fragment is left, once, in words. That's it. That tiny pause is the difference between the memory surviving and the noradrenaline drop erasing it. Do it for a week, and two things happen. You'll start remembering dramatically more, and you'll start noticing the patterns, what your brain keeps rehearsing, what emotions it keeps processing. You get a nightly readout of what your mind is quietly working through. Most people go their whole lives never once reading it. But there's a version of this you can take even further, because a small number of people have learned to wake up inside the dream, to become conscious while the movie is still running and actually steer it. It sounds like science fiction. It's a documented, measurable brain state, and the way you train yourself into it is stranger than you'd think. That's this video right here, how lucid dreaming actually works, and the science-backed method to have your first one. Let's go.